Welcome back to Ali Bros Episodes. Our topic now is Economics Part 2, Chapter 2, Data Collection. In the previous sessions, we studied the importance of data, scope of data, how the information or data is collected, analysis, interpretation, etc. Complete enumeration method, sampling method. In sampling, there may be random sampling or non-random sampling. Also, errors that may take place in the process of collection of data. All these were discussed already. Now we deal with the topic how these kind of analysis, collection of data and analysis is useful for the nation. We are dealing with the use of statistics regarding the nation. Almost all nations use statistical techniques for study for the purpose of their growth, development of the country. We know that the ultimate aim of almost all nations, welfare of the people. Every activities are executed by the nations mainly for the enhancement of welfare of the people. In our country, in India, how the statistical information is made use of for the maintenance of this welfare of the people or welfare nation. Mainly, the technique of census is using for this purpose. The census is conducting once in every 10 years in our country. The first census was almost taken during 1951, and after 10 years the next. In this way, the next year 2021 may be witnessed by another census. So this census is very much important in the process of collection of data and maintenance of welfare state. How this is practicable as far as a nation is concerned. See, through the census process, actually the government collects information regarding the people. We know that there is government under the overall government system. Government system is subdivided into some local bodies. In the most lower level, there may be panchayats, corporations, municipalities, townships, then block level organizations, block level local organizations, and then state government, and above this there is central government. All these governing bodies aim at the welfare of the people. In order to consider all the people in this process, it is required to find out the wealthy and poor people, especially in terms of finance. Financial plan of the nation will be in such a way that uplifts or pull over who are below the poverty line. That means poor people should be uplifted to the mainstream, and also ensuring the right and standard of living of others, maintaining the standard of living of others. In order to do that, it is required to study the financial position and all other things regarding the nation. we can classify the total economy into several sectors. Primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector are usually used here. These are the common terms used here. Primary sector, which consists of agriculture and allied activities. So it is required to study how many people are engaged in the process of agriculture. How many of them are engaged in the allied activities, agriculture and allied activities. What is their present income? What is the expenditure, nature of expenditure of these people? What is the standard of living of these people? And the income earning ability or capacity of these people. The marketability of the produce produced or made by these people. Means this primary sector. So every information regarding this sector should be studied well. The number of people engaged in the field of agriculture, their income combination, their per capita income, their GDP, all these things are to be assessed now. It is done through census. Through the census process, collect information from these people and analyze and interpret these collected information genuinely. On the basis of this, the agricultural planning is made by our government. The government will plan the agricultural activities, that means the agricultural policy. Actually, it is regarding the agricultural policy. The agricultural policy of the government depends upon the result of the study based on the data collected. How much should be the loan guaranteed to the sector? What amount should be set aside out of the budget for the agricultural sector? What should be the subsidies given to various agricultural activities? That is why during census, the different types of crops they are producing, the agriculturists are producing, and utilization of seeds and manures, data regarding utilization of seeds and manures, and also data regarding the facilities of irrigation. Everything will be collected. Everything will be collected. On the basis of data, they know these areas are sufficiently irrigated, and some areas are not sufficiently irrigated. So how much such area remains as unirrigated? Make them in an irrigated way, so as to increment the agricultural production. So steps will be taken for that. All these require collection of genuine information. This is the importance of census regarding the agricultural sector, which is primary sector. In this way, studies should be made regarding industrial sector, secondary sector. What is the secondary sector? The secondary sector usually produces products by making utilization of the products from the primary sector. For example, a business unit, a bread manufacturing unit, it is manufacturing bread, but in order to make bread, it requires raw materials from the primary sector, means agricultural sector. It uses wheat or some other grains for the production of this bread, and the wheat or such grains are actually the output of the primary sector, means agricultural sector. So secondary sector usually uses the products of primary sector for their production, for conducting production. What are the industries running here? The government should know about this. What are the different types of industries operating in our country? And they will classify these industries into different units. Tiny units, small scale units, medium scale units, large scale units, multinational units. In this way, they differentiate these industries in different categories. Then which one is most developed and which one is underdeveloped, that is to be considered. To consider this, they require data. They use this census technique. In the process of census, they collect information regarding the different types of industries running in our country, their productivity, the number of people engaged in the area of industry. All these informations will be collected. Which area should be given more thrust for development? That will be decided on the basis of this. We know that usually our government provide more importance to small scale and tiny units, because the individual earning capacity of a person can be increased with the help of a starting of tiny unit or small scale units. By starting a small scale unit, it will provide more employment opportunities to the local area people. So these will be given much importance. But the large scale business organizations, multinational business organizations also here, they are also doing well. They are also increasing the standard of living of the people by producing high quality and high standard products and supplying them to the people at low cost. This should also be encouraged. Studying about their importance, and that is why recently the taxation structure of these large scale organizations was reduced. Their tax burden was reduced in order to motivate them to produce more and serve more to the people. Because it is not possible to eliminate any one of them from the economy. We cannot avoid any one of them from the economy. Even the tiny units are also important in respect of that local area. The multinational organization is very much important in respect of the whole country. So they should be given much importance. In order to assess such an importance of this industry, it is required to conduct a census and a study. So we are actually discussing the importance of census in the overall development of the country, in the process of maintaining welfare of the people, enhance the welfare of the country. A welfare country, that's the main target of almost all governments. Another area of study regarding the census is tertiary sector. We know that primary sector, primary sector is engaged in the process of agriculture and such allied activities. Allied activities here mean cattle breeding, poultry farming. These are also connected with the agricultural process. Usually separately called the genetic industry. So some importance is there for the primary industry. The same importance is there also for the secondary industry. Another is tertiary industry. Tertiary industry is actually concerned with the service sector. Service sector means banking sector. We know that the banks provide a fund to start industries to the people, individually provide loans to the people, and also large scale loans are given by the banks to the multinational organizations. So almost all business organizations are running on the fund of or with the fund of the banks. Funds should be provided. Free flow of funds should be ensured so as to maintain the development. Banking is a tertiary sector. Similar to that, there is transport sector. Transportation of goods from one place to another, we know that is very much important. Transportation arrangement helps the flow of goods from one place to another. It helps to stabilize the prices of the product by transferring goods from the surplus area to the within area. Thus, they help to maintain the price stability, and also it helps to make available the goods everywhere. Just because there exists the element of transportation, we are able to purchase almost everything nearby. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to get products to satisfy our needs, because most of the products are produced in different places, faraway places. When goods are produced in faraway places, and if it is possible to sell them only in such places, then how can we purchase them? We cannot purchase them and satisfy our needs. So in order to satisfy our needs, we have to purchase them. These produced goods are loaded in vehicles and transported all over the country, actually all over the world, through different means of transportation system, which consists of road transport, air transport, rail transport, etc. Water transport. Every such a transport system is made use of for that. And through the help of these transportation systems, the produced goods are distributed almost everywhere in the world. It will provide or ensure two advantages. The producer is able to sell their products almost everywhere. A consumer can consume any type of products, and every product is at the reach of him. In the nearest shop, the product is available. So transportation system, that is very important. Warehousing system. The produced products should be stored properly. Only then it will be timely saleable. In order to that, there should be proper warehousing system. This transportation, warehousing, banking, so another one is insurance sector. The products get insured during their transportation or while they are in godown. In case some exigencies happen in the godown or during transportation, then the insurance company will mitigate the loss. If there is no insurance company, who will mitigate the loss? Once the loss happens in the business organization, a total loss may lead to stoppage of the business, and restarting the business will be very difficult without funds. Once you got your goods insured, and in case of any exigency, any accidents, that amount invested in such a goods will be given by the insurance company. This will help the business organization to continue the business. These are essential services. Transportation, banking, warehousing, insurance, all these are essential services, which are commonly called the tertiary sector. How many people are engaged in the field of these tertiary sector? A census only can reveal this. So government is conducting census through separate governmental agencies. Sample survey organizations are there. These organizations coordinate their activities and collect information regarding various types of activities taking place in the country, in order to find out how many people are engaged in the tertiary sector, what's their standard of living, what's their income earning capacity, what's the GDP provided by this area. All these will be studied with the help of the census. And on the basis of this, the government will set aside amounts of in the budget for the development of this, for the development of transport, warehouse, insurance, etc. So, in order to formulate policies regarding developments of the country, the government requires data, and these data are mainly supplied by the census process, which is usually conducted once in every 10 years. Now we can sum up the importance of census in the process of development of a welfare state. There is governments, including local governments and state central governments, who are working to ensure welfare states and steady growth of the country. In order to formulate policies for the development of the states, every government is required to take policies: financial policy, agriculture policy, industrial policy, insurance policy, banking policy. Every policy should be taken by the concerned governments. To formulate a perfect policy, they require the existing state of affairs, or the existing trend of development. What are the developed area which is the poor, underdeveloped area, that should be known by the government. In order to know the details regarding the data regarding the people who are engaged in which type of occupation, how many people are self-sufficient, and which section is to be uplifted, which section is to be given grants and subsidies. Everything will be decided by the government by conducting a proper census. The census ensures authentic data which is made available to the government, and there is statistical department and also some various data analysis departments which help the government to formulate policies and decisions. Within these policies and taken decisions, the government taking efforts to uplift the welfare of the people. That's all regarding this topic. And in case you have any doubts regarding this, ask through the email.